writers, celebrities, and celebrity editors. I was, I assumed, a Plan B guest, fit to attend, but not first choice, like an alternate on an Olympic team. And I was rarely invited with a +1, though I wouldn't have brought anyone had I been. As with just about everything else I did, I preferred to go to these functions alone. +1s gave me anxiety. They slowed me down. They wanted to be treated like humans. They wanted to show up on time and be introduced to people and mingle and eat and stay for the performance. There was always a performance. Once, shortly before September 11th, 2001, after she had been asking for months to join me at one of these, I finally agreed to bring my long-suffering, nightlife-loving girlfriend Caroline along. And of course she insisted on staying for the performance. I think it might have been Patti LaBelle, or maybe it was Gladys Knight. Either way, Caroline wasn't interested in leaving when I was. "Can we please just get out of here?" I pleaded halfway through the dinner. I was high. I was always high, but not nearly high enough for another hour and a half of small talk and rubber chicken. "What is wrong with you?" she asked for the 1,000th time in our relationship. "I'm not here to have fun," I said. "This isn't fun for me. This is work." "Work? We're at this amazing party with all of these incredible people and an R&B legend is about to perform," she said in the type of clipped, loud whisper often reserved for public spats. "All of a sudden, Miss Indie Rock is dying to see the Queen of Soul." "Aretha Franklin is the Queen of Soul, asshole," she said. "I knew I shouldn't have brought you," I shot back. "Plus, everyone is staring at your nipples." "You're a dick," she said. She was right. I was a dick. A dick in a tux. From that point on, there were no more +1s, and so I went alone to the children's benefit at the Waldorf in early 2003, but not before doing something else I wasn't particularly proud of. Something that my fashion magazine colleagues would have frowned upon perhaps even more than my drug addiction. I went to the tailor and let out my tuxedo. Getting fat in fashion was never in fashion. I wasn't what the editors of Details referred to as sexy fat either. This was actually a thing. We once published a story about the Tony Soprano effect and how heft had become hot. Guys like James Gandolfini and Julian Schnabel and Jack Nicholson. Guys who owned it and never bothered to suck it in. That wasn't me. I was more like Philip Seymour Hoffman's character, Scotty, in Boogie Nights. Awkward and fleshy and testing the limits of my clothing in ways that made just about everybody uncomfortable. Nothing worse than bulges in all the wrong places. I was eating a lot. There were meals and there were feedings. Meals were food. Feedings were drugs. Both were vital and well-planned. And I consumed both with gluttonous delight. As a rule, feedings generally preceded meals. Drugs kicked in faster on an empty stomach. My diet alone should have been enough to kill me. I had developed a 3-bagel-a-day habit. At 10:30 a.m. on my way to the office, and around 2 hours after the day's first feeding of 15 extra-strength Vicodin, I would pick up a toasted everything bagel with 2 eggs, bacon, and Swiss cheese. "Don't forget to butter the bagel. Both halves," I'd remind the guy behind the counter. Once in my office, a small square room with giant windows overlooking the Empire State Building, framed details covers lining the walls, an overstuffed beige love seat, and a round blonde wood table that served as my desk, I'd open a couple of small to-go salt packets and dump them out onto the greasy foil that wrapped my morning delicacy, then dunk the sandwich, glistening and slick, into a mound of salt before each bite. As if everything bagels weren't already salty enough, I was going for maximum bloat. Lunch usually happened at around 2, a couple of hours after my midday feeding of 15 Vicodin, and was generally either a smoked turkey, a Black Forest ham, or a tuna sandwich on a plain bagel with a bag of chips and a Diet Coke from the company cafeteria. I usually didn't eat dinner until 8:30 or 9 p.m. I'd survive on Cool Ranch Doritos, Twizzlers, 3 or 4 Diet Cokes, and half a pack of Marlboro Mediums between my 4 p.m. opiate feeding, 15 pills, and dinner, the only meal of the day that I ate before taking drugs. The evening feeding, the final feeding of the day, was the most important. This was the high I fantasized about during all of the other highs. This was the highest high of the day. Daytime doses had